Hello everybody, my name is Leonime, and this is a tutorial on how to make a town in RPG Maker 2. So let's get started. I'm going to go to Edit Game, and from the menu I'm going to go to File, New, Beginner Mode so that we can load the preset data. And then from here go to Menu, File, Preferences, User level, and switch to hard mode so that we can edit the preset data. The first thing that we're going to do is create a building, and that's located in Graphics Building Editor. Create new data. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it Home. I guess this will be like the home for my main character. B data, you can ignore that. Custom, you can pretty much ignore that. I think distort, I'll set it at 20%. For some reason, I like 20% distort. Distort just means how distorted your buildings appear. The more distorted it is, the more cartoony it looks. If you don't want it to look cartoony, you can set it at a low percentage. I like to have it at around 20%. Then go to Edit. Before I put any textures on my building, I like to just put the blocks in place. So I like to form sort of like a... I don't know. I like to see the building before I add any textures on it. So what I like to do is this is what I do. Maybe I'll go 4 by 5. So 4 wide and then 5 long. I do realize that this size could be a bit too small for a lot of people. I read online that there are some people who play RPG Maker 2 that believe that the houses, the preset buildings in the game are very small, and I can kind of see how buildings of this size can be a bit small. Some people like to build really huge structures. For me personally, I like the small sized houses. I'm not really sure why. I think it just grew on me. At first, when I started playing this game, when I first had this game, I didn't really enjoy the small houses, but now I like them. It just grew on me. So there you go, that kind of looks like a house. So now that I built a house, I can now put a texture on it. I think I'm gonna do sort of like a hybrid stone and wood type of thing. I think the base is gonna be made out of stone, so I'll choose something like that. That looks good. Alternatively, I could probably choose that kind of stone. But I think I'll go with this. Doesn't really matter what you choose. You can choose whatever you want. As long as you think it looks good, then I don't see why not. So this will be the base. Like that. Whoops. A lot of things have happened in the past few weeks. I recently applied for college, so hopefully this fall I'll be going to college, which is kind of exciting. I'm a little bit scared of college, but I think it'll be okay. Of course, I'm going to college to follow my dream of becoming a music composer. For those of you who don't know, I compose music. Wait, is this the right one? No. Yeah, I have a separate YouTube channel dedicated to music. So I only upload my Upload. I only upload my music on that channel. But, of course, the reason why I created this channel is because I love video games. I wanted to create a video game channel dedicated to video games. So, okay. Yeah, putting textures on a building gets very tedious. It's very tedious work, meaning that there's a lot of work involved. Because you have to think about all the sides of the block that you're placing down. So, that looks good. Okay. And let me think. Don't really have much to say about this process. Okay, I'm almost done with this part here. There we go. Oh, wait. I'm making these black because this is going to be the inner part. Like that. Okay. And... whoops. I think I'm just going to make one building. It takes way too long just to make one building, as you can see. Okay. Almost done. Now we have to do the roof now. Oops. I screwed up right here. That wooden texture isn't supposed to be there. There we go. Oh, I screwed up over here too. Okay. Let's change it to that. Okay, good. So I think it checks out A-okay on all sides. Now we can start doing the roof. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it would take. But, you know. Things happen. These things happen. Yeah, so hopefully I'll go to college in the fall. Oh wait, I already said that, didn't I? I encourage you to go to college too. For those of you who are dreaming of becoming something someday. I'm scared out of my mind. Like, I don't... There's a big part of me that's telling me not to go to college, but I'm trying to ignore that part of me. Looks like we're done with the house, by the way. So I'm gonna exit out of there, save it. Yeah, of course you're gonna have all these voices in your head telling you not to do something that you obviously should do. Like if it's your dream to become a music composer, I think you should do that. Or if you want to be a video game composer. I mean, video game composer. Video game developer, my bad. Okay, go to Graphics Map Editor. I'm gonna create a map and call it... Whoops. I accidentally pressed square. I'm gonna call it Lithuanian. because Lutheran is a very cool name. That reminds me of something. I think I got this name from somewhere. Maybe a book or maybe a movie? I feel like I'm sort of plagiarizing. I feel like I'm copying this name from somewhere, but I don't know where that came from. But it's such a cool name. I like that. I'm going to go to Edit. And I'm going to start just placing down some land. You can see that it's a circular land. You can toggle between circular and square by pressing and holding down triangle, and then press the down button on your directional pad. I think I'm going to go for a more natural sort of landscape, so I'm going to do circular lands instead. I'm going to press square and right on my directional pad. You can see the peak on the bottom right going up. And what that does is it flattens out the top. See, now it's kind of like this cone shape, almost, like with a flattened top. I think that's the kind of shape that I would like. And then I don't like that bump that it creates in the middle, so in order to get rid of that, you have to press triangle up, like that. I'm gonna do the same for this one over here. Triangle up. I'll just, you know, do something simple like that. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. And then to go to texture mode, press and hold down square L1. And then here's your template on the left. You can see all these different textures. There are 99 different textures in RPG Maker 2. And what you're seeing here are just 10. 10 out of 99 textures. Actually, I think there might be 100. I'm not really sure. There's like about 99 textures. You can choose the textures. Here, I'll show you after I finish this up, and I'll show you how to edit, how to select textures. Okay. I like that. That's cool. Nice green landscape there. I would spend hours creating a landscape, but in this tutorial, I'm not going to spend too much time. I would really spend as much time as I can creating little details to the landscape. And normally what I would do is go subtle on the textures. Go as subtle as you can and create as many details as you can as well. So you can see if you go to the map editor under the custom tab and then under the texture tab, you can see all these different textures. You can select any one of them, like this one, for example. And then it shows you 100 textures. It starts from 0 all the way down to 99. So that's 100 different textures you can choose from. That's a lot. You're probably never going to use all of them. I've never used 10% of these textures in the time that I've played RPG Maker 2. But yeah, I'm gonna update that. Exit out of there. Go to Graphics, World Organization. Now, I must tell you that every time you create a map or a dungeon, you always have to create a world organization for that map or that dungeon. Always. All the time. Create new data. I'm going to create a world organization for the map that we just created called Lutheran. The name of the world organization is going to be called Lutheran as well. And then right here where it says Data, Map Database, choose Lutheran. That's the map that we just created. And that's all we're going to do for now, so update data and exit. Exit out of there. In order to place an object on the map, what you have to do is create something called an object placement. So go to Graphics, Object Placement, create new data, and call this object placement Lutheran, or you can call it whatever you like. I'm just going to call it the same name as the town. And then for the data, choose the map called Lutheran. B data you can pretty much ignore. Go to Edit. Here's the map. And now I'm just going to select my building. You can toggle between character, object, and building by pressing the square button like this. You can see at the bottom left it says OBJ, which stands for object, and then it says barrel, which is the object. I'm going to toggle to building, and there's my building, so I'm going to find a good place to put that. Maybe like... No, that looks like a good spot to put it. My island is pretty small, but that's okay. You can edit your island, make it as big as you want, add some details, make sure to add some textures. Don't make it one whole texture like I did. Put different kinds of textures like dirt, sand, grass, and rock. That'll make it really nice and good. Oh, actually, I'm gonna add some more buildings. Maybe I'll add a preset building. Oh, that looks good. I'll add that. You can rotate your buildings by pressing and holding down triangle and using the, I think it's the left joystick on your controller to rotate it like that. That looks good. I'll put maybe one more. Like right. That looks good. Okay. And if you want, you can add some more objects. You can place some barrels here and crates over there and make it nice and homely. Okay, so now, in order to apply the object placement, what we have to do is we have to go to the World Organization, go to Graphics, World Organization, choose Lutheran, or whatever you called it. Under the Basic tab, go down to Objects, and this is the object placement that you created. Lutheran is the object placement that I created. So I'm going to select that and save it. Exit out of there. If you don't do that, then the buildings that you placed on the map are not going to appear in the town. Does that make sense? It's kind of a beginner's mistake. It's a common mistake among beginners. When I first played this game, I forgot to do that a lot. And so every time I played the game, I would have missing objects and missing events and missing... yeah, so and so. Now we're going to place NPCs. So go to Scripts, Events. Create new data. And the name of the event is going to be the name of the NPC. So the name of my NPC is just going to be Grok, I guess. Display type should be left at character because an NPC is a character. And then choose the model by going to model. And let's see. I think I'll choose Eskimo male. Why not? And then the motion, I'm going to choose a preset script called Wander. And the ID number for that is 0259. And what this script does is it allows the NPC to wander in random directions. Alternatively, you can make them do different things. They can wander in different directions. They can wait in one location, or they can do, you know, all kinds of different stuff. You can edit that in the script if you want. The start and the apply, I'm gonna leave blank, but basically what this is if you want to talk to the NPC, the start will have to be talk, and the apply is going to be a script that you create that applies when you talk to the NPC. So for example, if you want the NPC to display a message that says, "Hey, how are you doing?" or, you know, whatever, that would be a script that you would create, and then you would apply that here. But for now, I'm just going to leave it blank, and I'm going to update data and exit. So we now have an event. In order to place the event on the map, what we have to do is we have to go to Scripts, Event Placement. We have to create a new event placement, and in order to do that, we have to create new data. And then give it a name. I'm going to call it Lytherin, as always. Lytherin. The map is going to be, of course, Lytherin, and the object set is going to be Lytherin. Let's go to Edit, and you can see the map, and you can see the buildings. And there's my NPC. I don't know if you can see that. Can I zoom in? I forgot how to zoom in. Hopefully you can see that. It's a very tiny NPC. It looks very tiny from this perspective. That's because we're zoomed out. But once you play the game, it's going to be zoomed in, and everything is going to look a lot bigger. So always keep that in mind. The town looks very small from this perspective, but it'll look a lot bigger once we actually play the game. Here's the NPC. When we play the game, he's going to be wandering around in random directions. I'm going to exit out of there and update data and exit. Now, if we actually played the game, the NPC is not going to be there. That's because we need to apply the event placement into the world organization. So go to Graphics, World Organization. Go to Lytherin, which is the name that I gave it. And then where it says Events, change that to Lytherin, which is the event placement. So now when we play the game, the NPC is going to be there. You can edit the background music if you want. Let me put my headphones on so I can hear it. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I'll choose that. Doesn't really matter to me. Okay, edit, update. So now I'm gonna go to Game General Settings. I have a whole party full of members, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna deselect these. I just want one member in my party. Okay, up here where it says location, select that and choose your this is world organization, by the way. See, preset world, preset town, preset shops, preset inn, and Lytherin. These are all world organizations, and the world organization that I'm going to select is Lytherin. And then I'm gonna choose, I'm gonna select this icon right here. It looks like a down arrow, an arrow pointing down. And now you get to, this is basically where your character is going to start. And make sure to have this, I don't know if you can see that. It's like a little diamond thing. The edges of the diamond have to be leveled with the land, like that. And then you can press X on your controller to confirm the location. So that's where my character is going to start once I start the game. So I can exit out of there. And I think that's about it. Update data and exit. So you're pretty much done. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Let's see. I'm gonna go to game settings. I don't like the camera angle for some reason. I was thinking of lowering it maybe to 38 degrees. I don't know. Why not? Let's see what that looks like. I'm gonna update data and exit. And then test play. Start. So this is what it looks like. You can see that the perspective is such that the map looks a lot bigger. Everything looks a lot bigger in this perspective. It's a lot nicer looking, I think. If you wanted to, you can zoom in a lot more, so everything will look even bigger. It depends on your playing style. Some people prefer to have the camera zoomed out, and some people prefer the camera to be zoomed in. I was trying to make the camera first-person view, but I don't think that's possible. I mean, I think it might be possible, but you have to sort of tinker with the scripts. We can't go inside the buildings yet because we haven't created scripts that allow us to go inside of buildings. But I can show you how to do that if you want. Let's exit out of here. And before we create a script, we need an interior to go into. In order to create an interior, we have to go to the Dungeon Editor. Go to Graphics, Dungeon Editor. Dungeon Editor is where you create not only dungeons, but the interiors of buildings. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's true. This is where you create the interiors. So create new data. I'll call this home. And distort. I like distort at 20% as always. You can change it to whatever you like. I'm gonna go to edit. Okay, I'm gonna go way up in the corner over here because it's easier for me to see what I'm doing. It doesn't really matter what dimensions your interior are. It doesn't have to be perfect. I know that the building is 4 by 5, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the interior has to be 4 by 5. It can be whatever you want, really. It doesn't matter. I guess let's see, 4. Maybe I'll do like a 6 by I'm trying to think. Or maybe like a 5 by 8 or something. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Something like that. I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, so now we have to create walls. And the walls that you create for the interior can be any size. Your walls can be 1 block tall, or they can be 3/4 or half a block tall. Me personally, I prefer to have it half a block tall. However, sometimes it's more appropriate to have the wall 1 block high. That'll probably be better, I think. 1 block high for the wall. Oops. Something's not right. Why is it? It's transparent for some reason. Okay, let me exit out of there and then go back into edit. I think I pressed something by accident and made it transparent. Okay, that's better. So. And this will be the door where you walk into. Actually, I'll make it right there. Okay. There are no textures. Oh, by the way, you can... I'm thinking... I was gonna say, you can... wait. Okay, I'm gonna make a texture for this. This will be the floor. It'll just be a... maybe like a wooden texture like that. And then the sides of the block are gonna be transparent. Like this. The transparent texture is found at the bottom corner, bottom right corner. I like using the transparent texture for the floor because it just looks a lot nicer. See, watch. See how nice that looks? The bottom is completely transparent, and for some reason I just like it like that. It's more minimalized. I don't know if that's a word, but if it was, it's very minimalized. Minimalistic, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so now we have to create the texture for the walls. I think the top part will be something like that. I'm not really sure what that texture is, but I like it for the top part. And then for the sides, I guess I could just use maybe... oh yeah, the sides, I used a stone texture for the base. That's right. So you have to be consistent when you create textures for the outside. So whatever texture you used for the building, you have to use for the interior, outer walls. You know what I mean? Not sure if I'm making any sense. Okay, so that looks good. It's better than having white walls. So I'm gonna exit out of there. Update that. So now we have an interior. And as always, every time we make a dungeon, we have to create a world organization. So go to Graphics World Organization, create new data, and call it Home. Where's the H? There it is. Under Data, choose the interior that you created. In this case, I called it Home. I don't know what you called it, but that's what I called it. I haven't created any object placements or event placements yet, so it'll be left at none for now. And we can go ahead and save that. Update data. Okay, so now that we created the interior and the world organization, we can go ahead and create the scripts that allow us to warp or to teleport into the interior of the building. So go to Scripts, Scripts, Create New Data. And for the name of this script, I'm going to call it Lith, which is short for Litharin. And I'm going to put this greater than sign. That's just to let me know that I'm going from Litharin to the interior of the home. And in the script editor, I'm gonna go to party, teleport, warp, home, because that's where they're gonna end up. They're gonna go from Lytherin to home. And they're gonna warp right here. Not right here. Don't put them right here. Put them right in front. Because right here, I'm gonna put a warping point. So, I'll show you later. I'm gonna put it right in front of the doorway, like right there. Exit out of there. So we're pretty much done with the script. That's all you need to do, really. Update data and exit. We have to create another script. Going from home. So this is kind of like the opposite. Instead of Lytherin to home, we're going from home to Lytherin. Whoops. Home greater than Lith. TH. Party, teleport, warp, and then the location is going to be Lytherin. And they're going to warp, they're going to warp right here. Right in front of the doorway, not right here, but like right in front, right there. That is good. Update that. Okay, so we're done creating scripts. Go to scripts, events. Now we have to create the events. Create new data. Name this Lith home. This is a lot of work just to do this, I'll admit, but it is very satisfying once you get the hang of it, and once you're comfortable doing all this stuff, it becomes sort of like second nature. So the start is going to be equal, which means that once your character is right on top of the event, then it's going to apply the script. And the script that we want is Lith home. Update data and exit. Now we have to create home Lith. Oops. Okay. The start is going to be equal, which means that they have to be on top of the event, not touching the event, but directly on top. And the apply is going to be home Lith. Update data and exit. Oh man, I have so much caffeine in my system. Okay. Now we have to place the events. So go to scripts, event placement. Here's the event placement that we created called Lytherin. Go to edit. And I'm gonna place Lith home. So what this does is once they enter into the doorway here, they're gonna warp from Lytherin to home, to the interior of the home. And update data and exit. We have to create a new event placement for the interior of the home. So create a new one and call it home. I'm gonna select dungeon home. That's the interior that I created. I didn't create any object set or object placement, so I'm gonna leave it at none for now. Go to edit, and this is the interior, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place an event right here. This is a warping point. This is the event that we made called home Lith. And what this does is it warps the character from the interior to Lytherin. Does that make sense? So we're gonna update data. I can't say that word for some reason. Update data and exit. And go to World Organization. I think we forgot one more thing. Go to Home. Make sure that you apply the event placement. You got to make sure that you do that. Otherwise, you can't warp back to Lithurin. So make sure you apply that. And we're pretty much done. That's the end. And let's go ahead and test play that so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so that works pretty good. We're in the interior. There's no background music because I didn't add any background music, but this is what the house looks like inside, and then we can warp out by going out like this. So everything checks out A-OK, and it worked perfectly. There are no hiccups. I would do that for every building, but it takes a long time just to do that. It's a tedious process, I'll admit, but it's very worth it if you can make a very nice RPG. And I know you'll make a very great RPG because you're just one of the few people that actually care about making RPGs. There are a lot of people that play RPGs, but only a few people in the world can actually spend time making quality games and spend time learning how to learning the logic behind creating wonderful RPG games. And I guess that'll be it. I'll wrap up, and that'll be the end of this tutorial. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks again. And, well, actually, I only said thanks once. Okay, thanks again, and goodbye.